Congratulations on the first integration. That looked really nice. Can't wait to play with it. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for being here, everyone. I'm excited to moderate this registrar leadership panel, especially with everything going on. This industry is evolving on multiple fronts, between the new the next TLD round ramping up, to the way digital identity is being used and anchored to domain names, to the acceleration of Web3. There's a lot going on, and who better to have over here than the registrars who are at the forefront to unpack, not just the opportunities but potential headwinds around what's going on, and then dig deeper into it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Reg Levy, Head of Compliance at Tucows, Tom Barrett, CEO of EnCirca, Yatin Shah, Head of Marketing and Business Development at ConnectReseller. So these guys, I have a few questions, and I'm hoping for an interactive session over here, and we'll have some time to take questions from the audience too. But, some of the themes we want to start off with is 2025. Can't believe we are already almost halfway through 2025. And I would love to hear from each one of you, what are some of the tailwinds and potential headwinds that you have seen and experienced in your business that's helping you grow or pull back the business? And then keeping those in mind, going into the second half of 2025, what are some of the things as a registrar individually? Because all three of you come from a different background, different type of registrar. What are you guys doing to address those and capitalize on the tailwinds?
Sure, thank you. Reg Levy, Associate General Counsel for Tucows. I would say that the biggest headwind right now is a lot of regulations from various governments. And from a tailwind perspective, it's an exciting time for all of the interesting changes within the industry. Somebody at your last DomainFi event said, what was the most recent change to your industry that was like super innovative? And it happened in 2012. So the DomainFi, the Web3 domains, like that's a really interesting and exciting piece that is going to change things moving forward.
Great.
Thank you. Tom again. Hey guys, is this on? So I think about something a little different. I'm not a lawyer. So I think about how to grow my business, right? And so we've all seen this as Fred said, there's a lot of spend going on in the Web3 space, in decentralized finance. And I think a lot about how to get a piece of that business. So you've seen a little bit of where I think the future holds. There's an untapped opportunity for us to grow this industry 10 times the size it is now. If we can tap into these use cases that individuals want, rather than what companies want for e-commerce.
Hi guys, Yatin here. So in terms of what heads up or where we are growing, so I was just viewing that presentation, and there was an image, the old telecom days. You have to connect, like you have to first call the operator, he will connect you to the guy. So from there to we are here at Web3. So it's where we are heading, and that's what I guess is the real growth what we are seeing, and yeah, excited about that Web3 thing.
So I'm going to do a follow-on question on this and push for a bit more detail. So I agree. I mean, I'm here. I work at D3. I'm excited about Web3 too, and DomainFi. But so keeping the second half of 2025 in mind, can you give me one or two specific things that you as a company and team member and team leader would like to achieve in that space? So if we look back, 26, same time, we look back and say, all right, these are the things we set out to do. These are the things we did in the Web3 space or in general, and what the intended outcomes would be.
So my customers are not the end users, they are resellers. So we look to our resellers to dictate what it is that they want from us. And whether they want more Web3, more acceptance of cryptocurrencies, that kind of thing, that's going to be what drives us in not just the back half of 2025, but moving forward.
Fair enough, thank you.
So when you think about the registrar market, there's several different types. We have the ones that serve resellers. We have the one that serve trademark owners. We have the one that serve small businesses, right? EnCirca is none of those. So we are an engineering services registrar. We help registry operators like .bank, .cpa, who have eligibility restrictions or some sort of license restrictions, and we give them a custom registration experience to support that. And so that's our business. And so what we're pivoting towards now is becoming an engineering service provider to registrars. So my public wallet is something we've developed, but it's been spun off as a separate entity, and it's been implemented by EnCirca using a straightforward API, just like you might use for Wix or Weebly. So it's just another hosting service that registrars can offer, and that's our business plan going forward.
Right. So from our ConnectReseller point of view, there are two things which we are looking forward. So one is of DNS abuse thing. In general, when we talk about, like, it's a hot topic as of now. So we want to do something, or we want to make sure that DNS abuse is tackled appropriately. And the second thing is Web3. So seem like what she said is we are on the same way. We are reseller centric. So we want to do something what is going on trend, what is going on the market. So we want to make sure our resellers are aligned with the market trend. So yeah, that's what we are going to.
Thank you. So follow-up question on this, because Reg and Yatin, you, at least from a wholesale perspective, what you mentioned, it also ends up being a chicken and an egg thing, right? Because sometimes they just don't know what's out there and what's good for their customers. The whole notion of Web3, blockchain technology, the composability of that technology has been around for a few years now. And the promise of what Web3 can bring has been there, but the adoption hasn't quite been there yet. I think we are at an inflection point now this year and going into next year. So what do you think are some of the things that us as an industry should do that are low-hanging fruits to bring that adoption, education, awareness, showing the possibilities?
So, I mean, we've already hit on some of these themes. It's explaining the market that they can experience Web3 through an ICANN domain name and not be stuck in the Web3 sandboxes that exist out there. It's eliminating the risk that is occurring with cryptocurrency today. And so that's kind of what we've tried to address with our public wallet idea. You can get onto Web3, experience public wallet, and not have to worry about cryptocurrency until you're ready to take that step in your journey.
Yeah.
In terms of that, if I want to compare, he's like master and I'm in the amateur side. Yeah, I'm the student, so yeah, definitely learning from that. But yeah, we are exploring this Web3 since a few time now. So definitely it is something what, as you said, like resellers or the clients, they do not know what is there. So something like we need to educate them. We need to tell them, okay, this is the thing which is going to be in trend or going to be in market. So yeah, you have to be ready for that.
Thank you. So,
and to follow on what Yatin said, the education piece, we are in direct contact, especially with our larger resellers on a regular basis, trying to figure out what it is that they want, what they're interested in, how we can support their businesses. But we also have a marketing department, and we have sponsored posts. So if you are interested in educating our consumers specifically, no. So
are you
No,
sure?
but-
Are you sure you're a lawyer and not a business person?
So in terms of educating people, educating our resellers, we aren't just passively accepting their inputs, but we're also proactively educating them on the changing market and what is available.
Yeah, I'm going to double click on that. 100% agree. I think this is something that us as an industry need to be doing, the education awareness piece, and on both sides, right? And that's what I'm looking at. Fred set out to do with D3 is build the education awareness on both sides with partners in Web3 too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to deeper partnership. I have another follow-on question on this. Tom, you mentioned, and we spoke about My Public Wallet and the wallet aspect of this, which is critical, and it's the starting point. I would love to hear a bit more from you specifically on the whole tokenization of a domain name that allows a domain to come onto Web3 and unlock use cases. So if you could give your insight into, as the first registrar that's gone live with DOMA protocol, unlocking DomainFi, how do those things work together?
Absolutely, and DOMA is laser focused on the marketplace opportunity, right? There's a known spend today in the resale of names, and a lot of domainers are really excited about what's coming out in terms of new opportunities for leasing and fractionalization and so on. That's not so much my business, right? I think the opportunity for EnCirca has been more of a digital identity play. And I see the major use case there is login as a service. Today, you might log in, use social login like Google or Outlook. Well, the blockchain is about privacy and being freed from being monetized by today's social networks. And so people want a independent, decentralized identity that they can use to log in. And so the future, we think, is a wallet login as opposed to a social login. And but we were able to recognize that DOMA, with its tokenization capability, could enable that use case as well. And so we see a lot of exciting use cases from tokenization. Our experience, it took us less than a month to integrate DOMA. We had choices of different level 2 blockchains to use. We're using Base from Coinbase. Coinbase is the biggest public company in this space, $57 billion market cap. So we know they're not going away. So we feel pretty secure that the tech stack is an infrastructure that will be around for the long term. And as I said, it took us less than a month to add tokenization to our solution.
Yeah. Thank you. And you said something which is the exciting part of what we are building, and also just in general the Web3 technology is we set out to build DomainFi to unlock, the domain financial economy with a lot more millions of users and liquidity, right? And now you found the use case in that in tokenization from a digital identity perspective. So it's going to be interesting starting now in the next few years of what more different use cases will show up.
I'll give you another one that should resonate with this crowd. All right. So if you're a corporate registrar, one of the services you sell to your trademark brands is something called registry lock. Right? Makes it more secure to transfer that name away and get hacked. Well, we all know what happened a few weeks ago to Zoom, one of the biggest brands. We all use Zoom to do video conferencing. And they had a corporate registrar, they had a registry, and something went wrong in setting up these registry locks. And Zoom went down for several hours until they could get everyone on the phone and say, hey, we didn't mean you to put this on server hold and stop the name from resolving. All right? Turns out we think there's an opportunity for that same brand owner to put a lock on their name without involving the registry through DOMA. So there's now, I think, a new cool type of way to lock down valuable brand names via DOMA that just occurred to us that we think we could introduce as a new service, even without people worrying about the other opportunities in Web3.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for the audience over here, DOMA is an open source protocol, so it's built keeping in mind anyone and everyone coming on and building different sets of utilities and tech stacks on it. So it's an exciting time frame. So I look forward to hearing 10 more other ideas from you, Tom. This is now a question for everyone. What do you think will be the inflection point of going from it's a nice to have or something that's gonna happen eventually to it is happening right now? Is it the number of users? Is it the number of names that get tokenized? Is it what's the inflection point for adoption?
I guess it would be number of users, because as we just spoke, like the acceptance is not yet great. So not many people are still on blockchain or tokenization. So yeah, if we are able to get a number of users on it, definitely the number of names are going to be increased automatically. So yeah, number of users.
Browser adoption. Everyone in this room knows how to get to a DomainFi, to a Web3 domain, and nobody else does. People know how to use their browser. Half the time they actually don't even know how to use their browser, and they Google things. And by Google, I mean that in a just search, doesn't matter what system they're using, they're looking for something. They may not even know what a domain name is, let alone a Web3 identifier. So it has to come from the browsers themselves. They have to be able to reach it from Safari, from Chrome, is Internet Explorer still around? From Netscape. They have to be able to use what they think the internet is in order to access these, or it's just never going to happen.
So I have a different point of view. I think that we already said it starts with an ICANN domain name. It's already universally accepted in every browser. So the inflection point is when the Web3 crowd realizes that you shouldn't have to worry about the browsers for this to work. So forget about plugins to your browser. Forget about using Brave or Opera. If it does not work in a mainstream browser, it's not going to fly. So the inflection point for me is when there becomes a standard. You all agree there's a standard for DNS. That's how this industry grew up. You all use EPP if you're a contracted party. So when there's a standard for how we mint or tokenize ICANN domain names, then I think that's the inflection point. And I happen to believe the approach that DOMA has followed, making it registrar-centric and not decentralized like Web3 wants it to be, and it's not registry level, which requires a participation of a registry operator, but every ICANN registrar, when they realize, okay, this is a standard that is safe for consumers, that we can enforce the ICANN and rights protection framework, that standard is I think, once the registrars adopt it, it'll take off.
100% agree. Last question before we open up questions to the floor. Looking ahead post Hanoi, what is one ICANN policy or industry trend you hope to see prioritize to support your growth in the next decade?
Take it. So it's a buzzword that's a bunch of the engineering community is working on. It's called responsible DNS integration to Web3. And ICANN, I think, needs to embrace what that means in terms of integrating ICANN domain names with Web3 and making sure that the Web3 component is following the ICANN or domain name lifecycle. And once you agree on that standard in terms of how Web3 should be integrated, I think the community would feel safer that, okay, we're not at risk here because we have the backing of the ICANN framework.
I would totally agree with Tom. So that is something what is going to drive the next year, probably. Next year and decade.
I would say refocusing on multi-stakeholderism. I feel like the difference between decentralized and multi-stakeholder is just a matter of terminology, and that Web3 and traditional domains are sisters in arms.
Thank you. Before I open up the floor for Q&A, I just want to say a huge thank you to all three of you, and also the registrars in the room over here, because you know it is clear you registrars are the connections to the end users and the registrants, and you guys are actively shaping what our industry is right now and looks like in the future, and allows us companies like D3 to push the envelope with technology too. So all of you guys, after for drinks that's downstairs at P2M, find them, ask them more questions. But I think we have time for a few questions, so we're going to open it up.
I'll just talk loud however you want to do it. But Tom, you mentioned something about how do you address the security, and what do you, what if my wallet was lost?
So again, Joe, the key part of this is we believe there should be public wallets and private wallets. So public wallets don't contain crypto. So if you lose, so we do have the ability through our wallet system to provision seed phrases, but it's not like you're going to lose access to crypto, right? The state of the art in digital wallets is something called account abstraction. And so they have built into it ways to recover your wallet if you can't access it anymore. So seed phrases is archaic, to be honest with you, all right? With account abstraction, it's no different than password recovery from today. There's no excuse at all for someone offering a service where their customers can lose access to their wallet. It's a non-starter.
Anyone else?
With AI, are we going to use computers? Are we going to use screens? I mean, I just speak out to my AI. I mean, we talk like Chrome is not disruptable. I mean, I switched from Firefox to Chrome. I remember everybody, just like Google. I was using Ask Jeeves, and just like overnight, people switched to another platform where there's a better disruptive technology. So, I mean, why are we so certain that the current technology is going to adapt to like AI? I mean, I'm downloading a new browser called Fellow right now. It's like an AI-powered browser. So how do we know we're going to match this new technology of AI and ways we browse with what we're building now?
I think there's always going to be some kind of screen. I don't know. I write a lot of contracts, and it's going to be hard to speak those into the ether and not print them out, even into a PDF. So, I still write letters, still get mail. Old technologies will continue to exist, even as they evolve.
So Mike, it's actually a recurring theme that you'll hear me I've already talked about. So what do we think is still going to be around 25 years from now? Domain names will still be around, and so if they have a domain name today and there may be different blockchains behind it, maybe AI is a component, different cryptocurrencies, but the domain names are constant, so their digital identity will persist, even if some of the attributes and features, in the guts change.
Okay, I got a roaming mic. Any other questions for these guys? Web3 makes sense to everybody?
They want their booze.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Please give a big round of applause. Thank you, all of you. Again, if you